Hello, Void Dwellers! PregerU just released a short video where he is answering the question whether or not the Nazis were left-wing or right-wing. Let's hear a part of what he says.
Hitler was left-wing in that he believed in socialism. Remember, Nazism is National Socialism, but it was not left-wing in another sense. The left divided the world by class, whereas Hitler divided the world by race. Race is not a left-wing or a right-wing value. It has become a left-wing value in the last 25 years in the West.
Now, that is absolutely false. Prager is pushing three falsehoods here. First, he is conflating economical right and left views with social right and left views, which are not necessarily the same thing. The American right, for example, to which Prager belongs, defines freedom as private entrepreneurship and claims that the state should regulate the private affairs of businesses as little as possible. And yet, they wish the state to interfere with the lives of private people when it comes to abortion, adoption, marriage, or even what kind of entertainment a private company like Disney puts out. The second falsehood is the anachronism of the term. Right and left today don't really mean exactly what they meant a century ago. And the third falsehood is the relying on the name the Nazis gave to their own party. Yes, it's true, the Nazis had the word socialist in the party's name. But both Iran and North Korea call themselves republics, and come on, they're a republic as much as I'm a supermodel. The Nazis were not socialists, they were fascists, and there's a huge difference. I am a social democrat, which is, by the way, a position that merges capitalism with socialism. In fact, it is considered to be under the umbrella of capitalism. But socialists and social democrats do share a few basic axioms. A socialist believes in the social systems, in a societal effort to maximize the well-being of all members of society, and yes, there's a fundamental belief that the means of production of every society, the basic resources, belong to the society as a group, and it is the state that should manage those resources in the name of society, to make sure that they are used in a fair way. Now, in socialism, that usually means the state manages those resources directly. In social democracy, those resources can be transferred to private ends, but are being regulated by the state. And on a side note, that is different from communism, which actually has more to do in common with fascism, in that the state is given full power over the citizens and invalidates the very idea of private ownership over anything. And that is unlike socialism, or more specifically, social democracy, which recognizes private ownership and encourages private entrepreneurs, but believes that the taxes placed on private profits should go to provide the whole of society with services such as education and healthcare, and infrastructure such as power and internet in our modern day, roads and water and everything that comes along with it. Fascism, on the other hand, puts the state and the army above everything else in society. The state owns everything and everyone, and the state has absolute power. It is not a democracy, the people don't get a voice, and their needs are inconsequential in comparison to the state's needs. In fascism, the state is viewed as the ultimate goal of everything, whereas in socialism, and to a degree communism, the people, society as a whole, and in social democracy that also means the individuals, are the main point, are the ultimate goal of the state. In socialism, the people have rights. In fascism, the people only have duties. In socialism, people's lives are a value in itself. In fascism, people are only as valuable as the state defines the value, and therefore it can decide that you are worthless and worthy of extermination, which for the Nazis was if you were Jewish, or a gypsy, or a black person, or gay, or anyone born with any kind of disability. Socialism sees it as the state's duty to protect the weak and defenseless. Fascism sees the weak and defenseless as burdens on the state and therefore targets for extermination. In fact, in socialism, or specifically social democracy, if the state doesn't protect the weak and underprivileged, it loses the right to be a state. The government loses its legitimacy to rule, and the people should and do replace it. And let us not forget that in the end it was the communists alongside the capitalists who fought against the fascists. Now, I would say that it is true that the terms left and right do mean different things today than they did a century ago. And today I would absolutely agree that the left is far more dangerously obsessed with race, far more totalitarian in many places of the West, especially in Europe, and is far more infected with anti-Semitism than the right. But it's anachronism to try and paint the Nazis as anything else than what they were, fascists. And fascism is a far-right political movement, especially when viewed in the eyes of those terms as they were understood at the time those events actually happened.